Coming up on Let's Get to the Point.
Tonight, we take you to Switzerland on points and miles.
And we're going to discuss about how many points you need, because you're going to need to save your money on the flights because you're going to spend it on everything else once you get there.
Fortunately, Joanna has lots of tips and tricks about how to save money in Switzerland.
As you know, Switzerland's a little expensive, and I use my husband's card actually. And the card is not something we really talk about in the points and miles for. So we save like $800.
Joanna has all these tips for saving money on food and activities.
It's kind of like hot pot where you just wait until it melts and then you put it on yourself. There's beautiful mountains, so when you're driving, you're just like, wow, you're in awe, and you're like, oh shoot, remind myself, I'm on the mountain, I could die.
Scary, beautiful, and death all in one opening scene. Right there. There you go.
And now, let's get to the points.
She loves making family travel first class without the first class cost. It's serene. For him, no travel style is off limits and no destination is too far. It's Miguel. And he loves to use his credit card points and miles for unforgettable experiences in first class and beyond. It's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us on Let's Get to the Points audio video podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon, joined by my co-hosts. These are the best experts in everything points, miles, and travel. First up, she's our points princess with a passport full of stamps and always finding the lounge before the gate. It's Serena.
Hi, everyone.
He's the only guy we know who reads those credit card terms and conditions for fun. It's Miguel.
Hey, what's up?
And her recent trip to Switzerland includes cities like Zurich, Lucerne, and many others. It's our extra special guest co-host, Joanna, from her Instagram channel, Joyful of Travels.
Hello, hello.
Please help us out. Click that subscribe button below now to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you watch or listen. Don't forget, sign up for our weekly newsletter where we send you the latest news in points and miles. Now let's do it. Let's get to the points. Tonight, we are headed to the land of fondue, designer watches, and some delicious chocolate as we take you to Switzerland on points and miles. You're going to find 4 official languages, the birthplace of modern chocolate, and a public transportation system that could be argued as one of the most efficient in the world and offers a beautiful scenic view of the Swiss Alps and a lot more. From its stunning beauty to the many outdoors, sports, adventures, to their safety and cleanliness, Switzerland is a hugely appealing destination for a lot of points and miles people. And tonight we are going to cover it all. The best points redemption, sweet spot locations, the best places to see. And of course, we're going to offer you all the travel tips to make some of your Swiss dreams come true without breaking your Swiss franc bank. And to help with our discussion tonight, we have our extra special guest co-host, Joanna, from our Instagram channel, Joyful of Travels. And as always, we invite you to join in our conversation online by leaving a comment below. Okay, Joanna, I was scrolling your Instagram, blown away by your trip to Switzerland. It looked like a movie set. It was so beautiful because it's one of my favorite places that I visited. And I want to know, is that what made you go, seeing all those pictures and video when you were doing your research?
So that's actually a very funny story. So when I went to Switzerland, someone actually asked me the same question if I went to Switzerland because of there's this Korean TV, like a Korean drama show called Crash Landing on You. So if you know it, you know that it's mostly in Switzerland, and a lot of people go to Switzerland because of that show. But my answer was actually no, I didn't know about that show until after I booked my Switzerland trip. And the real reason I want to go to Switzerland is because I love adventures. Switzerland does look like a wallpaper. Like when you're there, you take pictures. It's unreal. Like I wanted to go there because I wanted to do all these adventurous things, like go on the mountain, jump out of the mountain or the cliff and fly and go boating and all these other great things.
Or that go-kart too. I saw you in that go-kart and wow, what was that?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. At first, it was actually really scary. There was either the trotty bike, I believe it's called, or the go-karting. But I decided to do the go-kart because the trotty bike sounded so like scary because you're on the edge and there's nothing to stop you if you fall, basically.
Oh my gosh.
The guardrails are gone.
Yeah, it's really scary. But the crazy thing is like, there's beautiful mountains. So when you're driving, you're just like, wow, you're in awe. And you're like, oh shoot, remind myself, I'm on the mountain, I could die. So I had to keep reminding myself, stay to the right, not to the left. Like just stay to the right, because I didn't want to die. But there was sometimes like there was a part that almost like thought I was going to die because I was taking a video, because you can take pictures and videos. There's no like time limit. When you go, you go. And it's up to you. Just their rule is stay to the right if you do decide to take pictures or videos. So my husband, like they were so fast because they were actually want to go kart. But us, we're like, I want to take pictures, videos. So we're so slow. We didn't have time to go to the right. And my husband was on the left side. And we're like, oh my God, be careful, because you almost like died basically, because they're so fast. They don't care about you. And you're just like trying to go to the right, but you can't. So yeah, it's a little scary, but it's beautiful though. And I highly recommend it.
Scary, beautiful, and death all in one opening scene.
Yes.
Right there. There you go.
All right, let's talk about how to fly into Switzerland. If you want to fly into Switzerland from the US, you can do so on the main 3 US carriers, Delta, United, and American. But you could also do so on Swissair, which is the flag carrier for Switzerland, as well as Edelweiss, which is a leisure airline that is owned by Lufthansa, part of the Lufthansa group. And they do more leisure routes. So you can find from like Denver, even Cancun and other cities like that. If you really want more options though, and a better deal, you're probably going to end up connecting through Europe on other carriers because it's going to be cheaper if you have a connection. So those are your nonstop options. And we're going to discuss about how many points you need to fly into Switzerland, because you're going to need to save your money on your flights because you're going to spend it on everything else once you get there.
Fortunately, Joanna has lots of tips and tricks about how to save money in Switzerland. But for now, Joanna, can you tell us how you got to Switzerland?
I wanted to go back to Paris. So I decided instead of going directly to Switzerland, I wanted to stop by at Paris. So I flew Air France. It was just like an economy flight. And back then I was able to book for only 11,250 points because of, I believe there was a 25% transfer bonus. Maybe it was Amex. And then, you know how there's like monthly Air France deals. So it was an extra percent off. And it was only like $64. So I said, you know what? I'll just fly to Paris first. And then after that, we went to Switzerland, specifically in Zurich. And it was only, I believe, $98 without using any points, which was great.
What airline did you fly?
I believe Swissair.
So how was that flight? Because I know the inner Europe flights are a little different than the long haul flights. So what was that experience like on board?
I remember it was very short and it was direct. There was food. To be honest, I don't remember as much because I was just so excited, if I have to be honest. So I just know that it was short and sweet. That's all I can say. And it was economy.
And cheap.
And cheap, yeah. It was like $98. Could be cheaper if I knew the date ahead of time, but I'm very indecisive on the day because it's just like I always want more time. And yeah, so I did it last minute. I think I booked it a month before.
So that was like everything, right? The seat, the bags, everything?
Yeah.
$98? That's wow.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you that when you want to go to a particular place, in this case, Switzerland to Europe, you just take advantage of whatever deal. If there's a deal to go to Paris, you know, make it a 2-in-1 or wherever the deal takes you, go there. And then once you're in Europe, it's going to be relatively cheap and easy to get to other countries within Europe. So that's a great way to get 2-for-1 trips.
So after Switzerland, I went to Lake Como. And then after Lake Como, I went to Milan.
How did you get to Lake Como from Switzerland?
I mostly stayed in Interlaken in Switzerland. But after Interlaken, we went to Lake Como. And it was like actually an adventure. There's many ways to get to Lake Como. So we did like a couple of trains, a lot of transfers. To go to our hotel was even more of an adventure. Because like I like to save money. So we did the public transportation for like 10 euros versus the boat transfer or car transportation. So that would have been more expensive. After we had our trip to Lake Como, we took the train. Now that one was easier. So Lake Como to Milan, I think it was only like 2 hours away. It was just one train ride. And then from Milan going home, we just kept using public transportation. And it was just a direct flight from Milan to JFK. Funny thing is, the main reason I even went to all these trips is because I wanted to fly the first class Emirates on A380. So that's the whole reason why we ended up going to Switzerland because it's so close to Italy. And I always wanted to go to Switzerland. From Milan to JFK. Back then, I think first class was only 87,000 points, like 87,000 Emirates miles. And I used my Amex points to transfer to Emirates. And my husband, of course, there was only one first class flight, award seat. So we had to book him a business flight. I think a few days before we got an email saying, hey, do you want to upgrade to a first class? And that's when, unfortunately, it went up. So I think you book for 102,000 points for first class Emirates flight. So the upgrade also went up. So it became 39,000 points to upgrade to first class from business class. But we're like, of course, because I didn't want to leave him in business class. And also, it's our anniversary. So it feels even weirder to leave him like, okay, bye. I know it's an anniversary and it's the day of our anniversary. So it feels weird to be him in business, which is still good. But I told them we had a backup. We're like, okay, if you don't get into first class, we'll meet at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Right? So
Exactly.
just in case, I always have backup.
But don't worry, I'll be okay up front. I'm quite okay. Okay.
I'll be showering,
This is good to point out because we talk about upgrading to first or business class at the airport, right? When you check in or in the lounge. But it's also great for everyone to know that you can get upgraded a few days in advance as well. Joanna, did you add yourself to the wait list online as soon as you bought his ticket?
I believe when I bought the ticket, there's a screen. When I went there, it says auto upgrade. And then they just did an email saying like, hey, like, do you want to upgrade? I guess so. I think if I transferred the points already, then it would have automatically upgraded. Since we didn't yet, it gave us an email saying, hey, do you want to upgrade?
Joanna, did you use the shower on Emirates? Tell us about your experience flying Emirates first.
I did use the shower and it was great. The experience, I believe I could say that out of all the business and first class flights, it was the best for Emirates, I think. It was the best airline for first class versus like other ones like Lufthansa first. I feel like I really loved the grounding experience, but up in the air, I could say that Emirates first class might be my favorite. I really love how the flight attendants are very attentive to everyone's needs. And I remember them saying that you can eat whenever you want. And they were able to do that. The pajamas were the most comfortable pajamas ever. So I said, oh, can I have one for my mom? And they gave me another one, actually.
Oh, that's so nice.
But yeah, we really enjoyed it. The food was amazing. I think that was my first time having the champagne, Don Perignon. That was my first time because, it's like hundreds of dollars. So that was pretty cool. My husband was in front of me and I was behind him. So it was nice to both have the window seat and an aisle seat at the same time. So it was great. It was only like under 8 hours. And I feel like, to be honest, I wanted to do more. Like there was just so many amenities for just an 8-hour flight because you can shower, you can go to the bar, you can eat so much food, drink so much, and you don't even have to get out of your seat and you have so much food and drinks all around you. So I feel like if I had to do it again, I would do a longer flight. But it was very convenient that the flight is from Milan to JFK and I didn't have to do a positioning flight.
So it sounds to me like for your next Emirates flight, you need to actually build a schedule out. First hour of flight time, I'm going to eat at my seat. Second hour of flight time, we are going to go to the bar. Because those flights, it just flies by really quick with the time.
The funny thing is like, I'm actually going to fly again for Emirates first class, but it'll be the 777. And it's going to be way longer than what it was. It'll be, I think, 28 hours. So from Korea, and it's our anniversary again. But it'll be 10 years this time. So it'll be Korea to Dubai, Dubai to Geneva. Well, I will be in the Game Changer and hopefully he gets an upgrade again. Praying. now we'll meet at the bar or whatever, at the lounge. Yeah.
That sounds great. So we learned lots of tips for you. Tips to get an extra pajama, tips to wait list.
What I think is interesting is, we have this discussion all the time, but I think as in you and your husband, you're willing to book separate cabins. Some people like to do that. Some people don't like to do that. So I find it interesting that you two are willing to do that in kind of hopes that an upgrade or something will come through at the end, but you're okay if you don't fly in the same cabin together at the same time too.
Usually we actually fly together. That's why it's really hard to book first class. Business class is fine, but first class is hard. Like when we did the Lufthansa first, we really got lucky for 2 seats because I feel like it's an experience, right? And I feel weird leaving him out of that experience. That's why I always have a backup. At least he's in business class so far. So good. Like he gets upgrades.
Yeah. And that strategy also works for families as well. Maybe if you have older kids, they can sit in economy. The parents can split up between business and first. This is a way where you can get everybody in the family to your destination on the same flight. And certainly this is a family decision. Some families don't want to split up among cabins. So that's something that you would have to talk to your family about. So if you wanted to fly nonstop from the US to Switzerland, there are some options. And here are the miles and points that would be needed to book that. We'll start with one-way nonstop in business class because those seats are typically harder to find. You can fly Swiss Air and use Air Canada Aeroplan points, and that would start at 60,000 points. You can also use Avianca Life Miles, and that would start at 55,000 miles. Or you can use United Miles, and that would be 88,000 United Miles. ANA just started one-way pricing on award tickets, so you might be able to get good award rates using ANA miles, but the taxes and fees are likely to be very high for Swiss Air if you use ANA miles. You can also fly American Airlines nonstop from the US to Switzerland, and that starts as low as 54,000 American Airline miles. You can also fly Delta, and you can book as low as 48,000 Virgin points. And if you happen to collect points in the Lufthansa Miles and More program, there is tons of award availability flying on Swiss Air, but you're also looking at very high taxes and fees in the $1,000 range. Now for economy, you can fly Swiss Air and book with as little as 35,000 Air Canada Aeroplan miles. You can also fly Delta and book with 30,000 Virgin points. For business class, there are lots of nonstop flights from the US cities, but not a lot of award availability from the West Coast for these nonstop flights. So if you're on the West Coast, it might be best to first get to France or Italy first, like Joanna did, and then go to Switzerland. And the best way is to set alerts to get from your region in the US to the continent of Europe. So if I'm on the West Coast, I'm going to set my alert on Seats.aero using the multi-city code WST and the multi-city code EUR for Europe. Remember, you can also set your own multi-city code on Seats.aero if you choose. This would be your own personal 3-letter call sign designated for the airports that you choose. You can go into the settings on Seats.aero to set that up. We have a Seats.aero playlist on our YouTube channel with tutorials, and we'll link that in the show notes. You can also check out episode 100 with the founder of Seats.aero for more tips and tricks on how to use this tool. We also talk about more Seats.aero tips and tricks in our Elevate community, and you can check out the show notes below for a link on how to join.
Are you still trying to remember which card to use for gas, for groceries, for travel? Is it the Gold? Is it the Freedom? Nobody's got time for that. This is CardPointers Plus, and it's going to tell you exactly which card to use for every expense.
I have that problem too. Are you sick of clicking every offer to every single card? I sure am sick of it. CardPointers to the rescue. One button and it's added to all your cards, including your players' cards.
Yeah, Surya, I have that same problem too. And if you notice, I don't even take the stickers off of them sometimes myself. CardPointers is great because it helps me save so much money with the offers that I can put on my multiple American Express cards, and it is more than paid for itself.
You've already got the right cards. Now use the right card every time. Check the show notes below for a link to a discount for CardPointers Plus.
CardPointers saves you money and earns you more cashback, points, and miles every single day. Sometimes you need to spend a little money to save a lot of money, and you can do that with CardPointers Plus.
All right. Now, there is one tip that I did want to offer when you are flying Swiss or the Lufthansa group of carriers, I believe it is. So we flew Swiss from LA to Zurich nonstop. And I'll be honest, it wasn't the best, but it was a nonstop, which is nice. Now, a tip I do want to talk about with them is seat selection. And they have what's called the throne seats. And if you've seen these before, you know why they are nice seats, because you don't have anyone on the other side of you and you got this crazy amount of room. Well, if you've got status with their program, you should be able to select that seats. However, the rest of us, we're going to have to pay to sit in those seats unless at check-in, they're still there. They release them and then you can select them for free. And that's exactly what we did on our flight. And I was right there. I was right on my phone, right there at the 24-hour mark for check-in. And I was able to score those seats. So if you want that seat, you want to be ready to select it, because otherwise, unless you really like your person you're traveling with and you don't want to step over them, that's the other option as well. But something to be aware of if you are going to fly Swiss. Honestly, I'd probably go for a US carrier over Swiss, but that's just me. Yeah.
That goes against our whole motto of booking the foreign airline.
Yeah. In this case, I think that's what we should do. But here's the good thing. You know, it wasn't about the flight. It was about the hotels and the experiences that we had when we got to Zurich and Switzerland. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, is where we're going to stay. So what points are we going to be using and what hotels?
So in Zurich, I used points for my hotel stay. We went to Park Hyatt, which was great. Back then, it was, I believe, category 7, but now it's category 8. So I believe now you can book it for 40,000 points per night. I'm a globalist, so breakfast was free. It was a buffet breakfast. We also got upgraded to a suite. This is a funny story. So I used my suite upgrade award, but for some reason, they didn't take my suite upgrade award, so I had an extra suite upgrade award after that, which I was fine with. They upgraded us anyways. The employees, like, they're so nice. The front desk personnel helped me book a table to a really nice restaurant. That was really nice of them to do, because I really tried to book it myself through WhatsApp and they weren't answering, and I couldn't use my phone because I have to pay for international. They actually booked like 2 dinner tables for us, which was really great.
I have stayed at that Park Hyatt. I actually really enjoyed it, but the location was really nice, right?
Yeah, it was by the water and by the train, which was very helpful. Our suite included a king bed, living room space, and then the bathroom was really nice. What's cool about the bathroom is it had heated floors. It also had a small TV, like a screen for TV. We didn't use it, but it was just like, what is that random, rectangle thing? And then my husband's like, I think that's the TV. I was like, oh, there's a TV in the bathroom. So yeah, there's a TV in the bathroom. Yeah, and then there's a bathtub, which was cool too. And we enjoyed it. They gave us chocolate, and they said, I think, happy anniversary, because I told them prior to arriving that it was our anniversary trip. Yeah, they surprised us.
So I think the big question for you is now that it is a category 8 and you paid category 7, if you were to go back and do it again, would you be willing to pay a category 8? Do you think it's worth that?
To me, I don't think so, because no, I mean, it was really nice to experience it. Maybe if I go for one night, because I stayed for 2 nights, but if I do end up booking it, I would stay there and just enjoy all the amenities, because I didn't get to try the bathtub and all the other things that they have, like the gym, etc. But I don't think it's worth more than one night, because it's just too many points. And if you want to experience the hotel, sure. But if you want to experience a lot of like activities and sightseeing, I think non-fan, like luxury hotel will do. Even hostels, like where we stayed mostly in Interlaken.
I think that's a great point, that if you're planning to explore a lot and you're not using your hotel room very much, it doesn't make sense to spend all those points on a high-end points property like that. What are your thoughts, Mitch, about the Park Hyatt? Would you go back there?
I wouldn't pay a category 8. I don't even think we paid category 7. I think we paid category 6 when we stayed there. I'm with you. I mean, if they're going to give me another free ride in the Rolls Royce that we took around, The house car, sure, maybe I would, but I don't think I would pay category 7 or 8 for that property. I agree with you. I don't think it's worth it.
It was a nice experience though. Once in a lifetime experience, I'd say.
It was good for the gram. It was good footage for the gram. Yeah, exactly.
Joanna, I've been to Switzerland. I went there a few years ago and we actually went to Interlaken as well. And yeah, we booked an Airbnb because we were going to be out exploring most of the time anyway. Airbnb is generally better when you have a family because of the occupancy limits in hotels. But where did you stay in Interlaken?
So in Interlaken, we stayed at 2 hostels. One of them is Balmer's Hostel, and the second one is called Adventure Hostel. And I really love Balmer's Hostel. Number one, it's really affordable versus if you booked hotels. So I highly recommend just booking hostels or Airbnb like you, Miguel, even if you are just 1 or 2 people. But you just have to know that before you book any hostels, know what age they permit you to stay, because I really wanted to stay at this hostel, but it's under 35 years old. But my husband was over 35 and I'm like, no, maybe you can go to a different hostel. I stay here. But then I'm like, okay, maybe that's not a great idea.
For an anniversary trip.
I know, right? I'm so rude. I'm like, yeah, you stay. But yeah, it was really nice. But I think it was at Lauterbrunnen. And I don't know if you guys know Lauterbrunnen Valley. So beautiful. And I wanted to stay there, but my husband's older. And I'm like, okay, I guess we'll stay at Interlaken. And highly recommend Balmer's because it's so close to all the food spots, which is great. And the thing that you need to know about Interlaken, just because you stayed at Interlaken doesn't mean it's only Interlaken activities. A lot of people stay there because it's near other places. So that's what we did. It was like our home. So we stayed there. And if you do stay at Interlaken, I don't know about you, Miguel, but our hostel gave us a free bus pass that we could go in many different towns near Interlaken, which was really great. So I saved money on that. But even before then, I highly recommend checking which Swiss pass you should get for transportation. There's the regular, I think 1, 3, 5 days, etc. Or there's one that's called half fare card. And I chose the half fare card because everything's 50%, including the boats and the cable cars, I believe, and the buses. And since Interlaken is free buses for us, I didn't think I'd need to get the other Swiss pass. So that's a one tip I could tell you, is that make sure you check where you want to go before you book any transportation travel card.
Can you talk about how you booked your hostel?
The first one, the Balmer's Hostel, it was under $800 for 4 nights, which seems a lot compared to all the hotels. It was really good price. It doesn't include breakfast. It's just literally a place to stay. So we booked through booking.com, and I used the Rakuten shopping portal to earn Amex points. And I used my husband's card actually. And the card is not something we really talk about in the Points and Miles world because it's the card that he got before we got into Points and Miles. My husband's card is the Bank of America Travel Rewards card. And what's great about it is that, yes, it does earn only cash back. You do have no annual fee. And there's no foreign transaction fees, which is unheard of because usually no annual fees that are travel cards, they do have foreign transaction fees. With Eric's platinum status for Bank of America, he earns 2.62% cash back. I think it starts off with 1%, but since he's a platinum member, he earns the highest, which is 2.62%. And after that, with the points that he earns, he can use to erase the hostel booking. So we save like $800. We're like, you know what? We'll save money since, as you know, Switzerland's a little expensive. So that's another way to save money.
Joanna, I agree. That's a great benefit for a no annual fee card to have no foreign transaction fees. A lot of people don't talk about these Bank of America cards, but I think they're great if you have platinum honors status. And you can get that by moving over some 401k money to Bank of America. There's also the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite card. This is a $550 annual fee card, but it also comes with a $300 airline credit, a $150 lifestyle credit, which includes streaming, food delivery, fitness, and rideshare. It also gives 20% off airfare in any class when you pay with points. points. And I think one of the best things about this card, which no other card has, is it gives you 4 complimentary Priority Pass memberships. And this Priority Pass includes restaurants, which is great for families. So this is a premium travel card that a lot of people don't talk about, but I think it's something that you should look into if you wanted to diversify your currencies. Now, these points do not transfer to partners like Chase or American Express, but a card like this is great for accomplishing what Joanna did, erasing your travel charges, especially for purchases like hotels and regions like Interlaken where there are no points properties. So in Switzerland, there aren't a whole lot of points properties, but if you wanted to use points, here are some options. Hyatt points properties start as low as 12,000 points per night. You can use Hilton points and pay as little as 30,000 points per night. There are several Marriotts in Switzerland and they start at 20,000 points per night. And if you have IHG points, you can redeem those points for as little as 20,000 points per night. So we've covered flights and hotels in Switzerland, and now we're on the best part. Joanna has all these tips for saving money on food and activities. Joanna, can you please share your secrets with us?
We mostly stayed in Interlaken, and for food, it's everywhere. As you know, Switzerland's a little expensive, but there are ways to save money on food. So for dinner, that's usually when we splurge on. But other than that, for breakfast and lunch, we usually go to the grocery stores such as Lidl, Aldi, and other places. And you could save a lot of money just by getting prepared food already for the next day. So we save a lot of money on that. There's also another one. It's called Too Good To Go app. And I'm not sure if you guys heard of it, but it's one of the best apps when it comes to food, because those are the places where restaurants or even grocery stores that they were gonna throw away their food. But instead of that, you can save up to 75% off. And it's really good to save money for Switzerland or even in the US. Have you guys heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I haven't used it.
It sounds like something I would see on Shark Tank. I think I'm going to download it now and see what's around me now, because 75% off for food can be pretty good.
So for me, for New Jersey, you can get like a bag of bagels for like $3.
Oh, wow.
And those are, yeah. And you can get pastries, pizza, just random food that they were going to throw away, which is great because instead of throwing away, they're going to, we get to save money. I don't like putting food to waste.
So what was some of the places you found in Switzerland on this app that had pretty good food?
For that, I noticed there's a lot of grocery stores. So those are mostly that. I just looked at it in Switzerland. I did want to try the Switzerland, but just know that Too Good To Go, it's only limited up to a certain number of people. So if you get it, you could just reserve the food and you have to pick it up yourself. And also it's a certain time. That's why we ended up going to Lidl or Aldi, just because it's so convenient. There are Too Good To Go stores or restaurants nearby. I highly recommend it to save money just by doing that. And the cool thing is, like, let's say you weren't able to pick it up, you could always cancel and you won't get charged. And you can use your Amex Gold and you'll earn 4 times points.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now you're speaking my language.
I need to look to see what other countries this app is located in, because that'd be great.
Mostly big cities. Like I go to work in New York. If it's like not really a big city in the US, it's not gonna be there. But in Europe, yes, a lot of in Europe. Asia, not really. If you are staying at a hostel, find one with a kitchen. So you could also save money by, like I said, getting food at the grocery store and cooking it. So just make sure you find a hostel or a stay with a microwave or a kitchen.
Joanna, I want to hear about where you splurge. You said you like to splurge for dinner. I want to know about what food do you think are the must-haves? What do you need to try in Switzerland?
Our first night in Switzerland, I fell in love, even though I was already in love with mac and cheese, but it's another level in Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
I forgot what they call it. It's like cheese pasta. I think that's how it translates. But it was interesting because they had cheese pasta with applesauce. At first, I was like, that's very interesting. But now it feels weird not to end mac and cheese without some applesauce next to me. I just got used to the taste. But yeah, if you do order that, it's one of the best, I think. And also, of course, chocolate. You have to try chocolate fondue, cheese fondue, and cheese raclette. You have to try it.
What's the cheese raclette?
I think the cheese raclette is where they heat up the cheese. It's like a half wheel of cheese, and then they heat it up, and then it melts, and you pour it over something.
Yeah, so I was used to that, but this one was interesting because you get to do yourself. It kind of reminds me of hot pot, like make your own hot pot.
Oh my God, I love hot pot.
Yeah, me too. I just went yesterday. It's kind of like hot pot where you just wait until it melts and then you put it on yourself. Versus when someone comes, it's already melting and they're just scraping it off. That's what I was used to. But the ones I've been to in Switzerland, they had a portable raclette and then you do it yourself.
So, Joanna, you talked about cheese, but there was also chocolate too. I feel like there's more to this story.
Yes, chocolate is very, very, very good in Switzerland. That they have the Lindt Chocolate Factory, or near Zurich actually. And that's the only activity I did when I stayed in Zurich. Like it's a must-do activity. You get to try all these chocolates, the liquid chocolate to the hard chocolate, and you could take home as many chocolates as you want and not just taste them when you're there.
Really?
Yeah, and it's only, I'm trying to remember how much. It's cheaper, I know, for children, but it was only like, I'm going to say less than $20 for all you can eat chocolates. And it's a tour too, and all you can eat chocolate. And it gives you a history of Lindt Home of Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, that was one of the 2 activities. I think I did 2 activities when I went to Switzerland, and one of them had to be a chocolate making class. So I went with my family. They gave us a little bit of background and history on how chocolate started. And by the way, it was kind of invented in Mexico.
Oh, interesting.
But the Swiss have improved it, and, they do have some of the best chocolate, I would say, alongside with Belgium. So it was great. The kids loved it because you're making chocolate. They get to design it and put all these sprinkles or whatever they want on their chocolate. And it's also a nice souvenir. So we made some chocolate for a family back home. Then we brought them those chocolates, which was a nice souvenir because it's Swiss chocolate, but we made it ourselves. So that was kind of cool. So I definitely recommend you do a chocolate making class because you get to eat the chocolate and bring some souvenirs home. The other activity that I recommend is paragliding. That's the only place I've done paragliding, but I would say it has to be one of the best places because of just how beautiful Switzerland is, right? And we went during summer. The water and interlocking, the color is just amazing. So for you to be paragliding and getting a bird's eye view of this scenic geography, it's amazing. My wife's not that into these adventure sports, thrilling rides and any of that, but it's not like skydiving. It's not that intense. Paragliding is pretty peaceful. Those views that you get, you cannot really get anywhere else. So I definitely recommend paragliding as well.
Did your kids paraglide as well, Miguel?
No. I think that there's probably like a minimum age to that.
Yeah, 6 years old and up, I believe.
6?
6 is young.
Yeah. I remember I Googled it, I checked, and I was like 6 years old. So, because my husband also is not the type to do adventurous stuff like this too. So I told him, like, if 6-year-olds can do this, you can do this too. Yeah.
It's our anniversary too.
Yeah, and it's in our anniversary. And I have to make a reel. You gotta just threaten him, right? Just keep.
This is great to hear because I have been skydiving and I wouldn't do it again. Paragliding still seems scary to me. I think as a mom, my perspective on life is different, right? They need me. I need to survive. So I try not to do as many life-risking activities. But Joanna, did you feel safe paragliding?
I felt safe because I went skydiving also, which I was really not supposed to. I know I'm crazy because of my heart problem, but it all worked out. I'm fine to tell the story. So, But then after that day, I was like, no, I can't skydive again. I need to really take care of my heart. I'm an adult now. Then I got into paragliding. So I was like, oh, what better way to paraglide than in Switzerland, right? So yeah, I really felt safe. I didn't feel scared like the way I was when I went skydiving because you had to jump off the small plane. But for this, you just kept running. And next thing you know, your feet are not on the ground anymore. And then you just see all these beautiful views of the blue river and lakes and the mountains. And it was just so beautiful. It was like breathtaking.
This is a problem I have with doing these shows. I am now adding Switzerland to my list. The cheese, the chocolate didn't convince me, but this activity, I am convinced now. I think I want to go, and I think I want to go during summertime.
Yeah. You should. Before you go paragliding, make sure you check the weather. Just like the mountain activities, you should check before because the weather in Switzerland changes like minutes. And the cool thing is, most of the main attractions actually have a webcam. That's what happened to me when I wanted to go to more mountain activities, but couldn't. But thank goodness we didn't, because we would have paid so much money to go to the mountain. And then guess what? We see nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That happened to my friend when it was during winter time. And, they're like, oh, maybe we'll see some mountain because it's going to look really pretty. Snow in the mountains up there. So make sure, look at the webcam before paragliding or before going to any mountain activities. Because just because you're in the ground and it's sunny doesn't mean up there it will be sunny.
So Joe, does that mean you booked your paragliding last minute?
I did Viator. So with Viator, it was free cancellation. So I did it when it was 15 times for Rakuten shopping portal. So I booked it ahead of time. But the other ones like Grindelwald First, the mountain cart, that one I booked last minute because I wanted to make sure that it was okay and like the weather was fine.
Yeah, so let's talk about the best time of the year to go to Switzerland. And it depends on what you want to do. So if you want to do adventure travel and hiking and warm weather and swimming in lakes and stuff like that, you want to go June through September timeframe. That is when there's going to be more crowds because, everybody's trying to enjoy the great weather. If you want to go for skiing, snowboarding, Christmas markets, that would start in December all the way till maybe about March. If you go during the shoulder season, so the months that I didn't mention, that's when you're going to have less crowds and lower prices. But then again, you're not going to have the most favorable weather depending on what you want to do. You might not have as much snow if you want to go skiing. You're not going to have as warm weather if you want to go out hiking and stuff like that. So those are the best times to go. When did you go, Joanna?
September.
I went in September as well. I was there actually over a Labor Day weekend, I believe. So September a few years ago. And it was pretty good weather.
Yeah, it was great. We went in the middle of September.
How about you, Mitch? When did you go?
Yeah, we went about the same time. It was the end of September. I want to say it's actually probably the first week or two of October that we were there. And I thought it was beautiful. The weather was great.
So another activity we did in Interlaken was the boat, which was really cool because we got to see Lake Prince and also Lake Tons. I love Crash Landing on You, the Korean drama show. And we went to Isoltwald, which is where the, very famous scene of the piano, if you guys watch it. And they have a boat. So I felt like I was living a Korean drama show. I was in it and it's so romantic and everything was blue and the mountains. It was just beautiful. And with my half fare card, guess what? It was 50% off. And also, I didn't mention this earlier, but when I went from Zurich to Interlaken, we did the Panoramic Express train ride, which was also half off. So I highly recommend if you want to save money, go try the Panoramic Express train for the panoramic views from Lucerne to Interlaken. That's where you get the panoramic views of the Lake Prince and some mountains. And you save way much money than if you did the viral video where it shows the train. It's, I think, double the price.
Something else that you could look into if you want to go around the September timeframe, there's this parade of cows. So they have the cows grazing up in the mountains through the summertime. And once the winter is going to start to come, they bring them all down, but they don't just come down. They decorate them. They put all these flowers on them, these bells, all the bells and whistles. And they pretty much have a parade going through a few of these little towns in Switzerland. And that's just something cool, I think, because, it's kind of unique to that region. But that's just something cool to see. I never went to that festival, but it's just something else. If you're in the area around that time, why not look into that?
So if you want to go to Switzerland and just stay in one area, I would recommend Interlaken because you can do so many day trips. For instance, we went to Lauterbrunnen to see the falls, which was so beautiful. And all we did was take the train and we were there. And we also got to hike a little bit and explore. What I love about Switzerland is you can get lost and not feel nervous after. You just feel like you're in the moment because everything is so beautiful. Everything seems so not real and you just appreciate life, just being there. So I highly recommend just going to a day trip in Switzerland and just enjoy the view, enjoy the moment. And it's fresh air. So it's great.
I love, Joanna, how you mentioned the fresh air because that's exactly how I feel about Switzerland in general, because I talk often on our show about being over Europe, but Switzerland is the one place that I would definitely go back to and spend a lot more time there. The one place that I really want to recommend, because this show is about Switzerland, is Zermatt. Now, you may not know it right off the bat, but you all know Paramount Movies, right? The movie company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
The logo.
Yeah, the logo.
Yeah. With the stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's supposed to come from is the Matterhorn, that famous mountain that is there. And we did that a couple of years ago, right after COVID. It's not directly out of Zurich. You got to take a train there. It's a couple hours there and they don't have any points properties there. So you're going to end up having to do either Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts, or you're going to have to look down the hostel route, or maybe you could use your hotels.com gift card that you got from your Capital One shopping portal. Serena, I'm giving you a tip here, but I would definitely recommend it just because of the views of the iconic Matterhorn mountain. It's beautiful. We went there. I want to take my mother-in-law back there. It's so beautiful. Now, the one thing that I do recommend that you do is they have the Seven Lakes Trail, and it's a hiking trail. Now, of course, I think we only did one of the Seven Lakes because when they say it's breathtaking, it really is, because you're climbing and it's a lot of walking, right? But it's definitely worth it because this is some of the best footage and video I've ever taken. It was literally like a movie set. It was beautiful. You could sit out there and eat your lunch, go up there. These lakes, they mirror the Matterhorn. And if you got beautiful weather, definitely want to do it. I highly recommend Zermatt. Definitely a place to go and check out when you're in Switzerland. Just do it.
Now, Mitch, did you stay in a hostel?
No, we did not.
I didn't think so.
Wasn't going to happen. But there's the also thing too, is they don't have cars there either. So they have electric little buggies that will kind of pick you up at the train. So you got to take the train all the way in. It's kind of the end of the line for the train station. And I know it's expensive, and especially now, because back when we went, it was a little different. The pricing was different. We stayed at the Mont Cervin Palace. I think I'm saying that correctly.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it was very expensive. But the view we had from the room, you open the door, the Matterhorn is right there. So yeah, I think we paid, I want to say it was about $300 a night. But I just looked it up, and this place is going for like $700-800 a night this summer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you really definitely got to shop around or stay in a city close and take the train in, because it's more expensive now than what it was when we went.
Mitch, the only Matterhorn I know is at Disneyland. Maybe I should take my kids to Zermatt and let them know that there's more.
There's a real
than
one.
Disneyland. There is a real one.
Yeah, I think they would enjoy it. It's a really good view. Yeah, good idea. All right, so since the three of us have been to Switzerland, and now it's very high on Serena's list that we have yet to see, and I think we've convinced her to go, I think all of us, before we wrap up, we need to give her one good tip about Switzerland, maybe what she should do, or some just really good advice. So Joanna, you go first. What tip or advice do you got for Serena?
Number one tip is make sure before going in the train to book your train ticket first, or you will get fined just like us. Oopsies. Yeah, so make sure. We're from New York City, so we're used to booking Long Island Railroad tickets on the spot because you can. But in Switzerland, if you try doing that, it won't let you book it on the spot. And if you can't book it, you might get fined like us, because the attendant saw us like, oh, where's your tickets? Like, we're trying. But it's like, oh, it's too late. You had to book it ahead of time. So that's the only thing. So make sure to do it or you'll get fined.
What was the fine?
I'm going to say more than $20 per ticket.
Do they fine you on the spot?
Yeah. Because we were trying to explain, like, oh, we're Americans. We didn't know. This is our first time. Like, they were nice about it, but they were just like, yeah, but you still have to pay up.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Great tip.
Bring layers. Even if you're going in summer, I will bring some layers because the weather can just change pretty quick. You're up there by the mountains, you get a little breeze and you might need a sweater or two. So I would just bring some layers.
All right. My tip for you, Serena, is, and I don't even think you're going to do this anyway, so I don't know if it's a tip for you or not. Do not pay Category 8 prices to stay at the Park Hyatt in Zurich. It is not worth it. 2 people told you it is not worth it.
I will listen to you guys on this one. Not a lot of people say much about the Park Hyatt Zurich. It doesn't entice me at all. So I'm okay staying at a hostel.
Yes. Yeah.
Our points princess at a hostel.
Have any of you been to Switzerland? I am now trying to plan a trip. Please let me know in the comments if you have any tips and tricks for me about booking a trip to Switzerland.
So, Serena, big question again. Are we ever going to see this list? I want to see your list.
This list is getting longer and longer.
We've got to see the list. Leave that in the comments if you want to see Serena's list. All right, tonight we covered a lot, from chocolate and cheese, and that was just Miguel's favorite part, to some of the better redemptions in Switzerland. Switzerland, like where to stay and not stay. Park Hyatt, not worth it. Have you been to Switzerland? What do we miss? Let us know in the comments. Just drop one below. It has been such a joy having you with us tonight, Joanna. How can people reach out to you?
You can find me mainly on Instagram, Joyful of Travels. So I share a lot of trips based on points and miles, and also I create itineraries. And if you like customized itineraries, you can reach out to me. I also do coaching calls, which you can book through Instagram, or I can send you a link. Just DM me on my page.
Joanna, you are the queen of itineraries. Whenever I'm going somewhere, I refer to your highlights to see if you've been there before so that it will help me with my research. And so definitely, if you are interested in itineraries, reach out to Joanna. She is the person who is thorough and will give you what you need to know.
Thank you so much.
I mean, look at this footage. Isn't this where you almost went over the side of the hill?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I see. No railings. That's what I was trying to say.
Do those have gas in them, or is this all based on gravity?
Just pedal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's like biking.
That sounds
Scary.
fun.
And fun. Yeah.
That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts. It's Serena.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Miguel.
Later.
And thank you for joining us, Joanna. It was great having you. Hope you'll come back.
Thank you. Definitely will.
And I'm Mitch Shea. Make sure you sign up for our email newsletter. Just snap the QR code right now on your screen for the latest and everything going on in the points and miles world. We're back next week. Another new show. Break out your baguettes and berets, and we're headed to France with Jessica from World Travelista 1 and the best way to do it on points and miles. Thank you for watching and listening.
Let's get to the points.com.